Last week, Capcom let us check out the Tokyo Game Show 2025 build of Pragmata, and it's safe to say that this game just keeps improving every time I touch it. The highlight this time was the shelter base system, a hub that adds both mechanical depth and some personal insight into Hugh and Diana's partnership. It's also where you'll likely feel like the game almost features some roguelite elements in its design. All this to say that I am left more convinced than ever that Pragmata is carving out its own space in Capcom's catalog, even if I'm still holding on to hope that it's somehow tied to the Mega Man universe. I mean, come on, in the early Mega Man games, if you lose all your lives, you go back to the stage select screen, which is kind of like a shelter base? It's a base? Yeah, I'm going full conspiracy theory on this one, but let's just get into the preview.
Yeah, let's do this.
At its core, the shelter in Pragmata works like a reset point. If you die in the field, you're sent back here losing progress but keeping the long-term upgrades that you've managed to print out. This setup essentially keeps you invested in each run while also softening the blow of failure. You're encouraged to take risks because even defeat feeds back into the progression. It should be noted that the shelter isn't a menu, it's actually something that you can walk around, customize aspects of, and interact with items that you've brought back from other missions. These small touches highlight the relationship between Hugh and Diana. Even though they're survival partners, they're also just two people who don't really know about each other and are trying to piece together what's left of a broken world. That emotional anchor could potentially give the action some more weight, even with the little back and forth that you get from simply upgrading some stats. Upgrades happen through printed weapons and hack nodes. In this build, I got to experiment with the shockwave gun, which is sort of a shotgun that can punch through enemy armor, and the stasis net, which slows enemies down. Diana also introduces the multi-hack, which cracks open the armor of multiple enemies at once so you don't have to do one at a time. It's a consumable, but it can also flip an encounter when things get a little out of control. These new elements push you to think beyond just aiming and shooting, where each weapon and node has unique strengths, so victories often come from stringing them together. For example, do you lure in enemies using a decoy and then line up a charged piercer shot, or do you spend some time multi-hacking early to thin out the herd? These systems overlap in ways that encourage improvisation, and the unpredictability makes every battle a little more memorable. For those who didn't watch, one of my early complaints about Pragmata was the weapon system, but it has been starting to click in this build. Your pistol remains a default, but it works on a cooldown for ammo. Extra weapons like the shotguns or rifles have limited ammo, and when that runs out, the weapon just disappears. This essentially forces you to treat them as temporary tools rather than permanent crutches. While playing, that decision created some tension. Do I unload my shotgun into this first wave of bots, or do I hold on to it for the unknown threats ahead? Ammo scarcity combined with disappearing weapons means every fight has its own little gamble. It's not a system that you can brute force, and I appreciated that layer of restraint. To balance this semi-roguelite structure, Capcom has added plenty of checkpoints that access fast travel that are referred to as escape hatches. These end up acting as both safety nets and travel shortcuts. Once unlocked, you can jump back in using the shelter's tram system, which makes replaying earlier sections painless. Exploration ties into this flow nicely, where the environments feel larger and layered, rewarding you with hidden items and optional routes. There were also a few very cleverly hidden toys that I was able to find, similar to the Keratin frogs in Metal Gear Solid 3, but I'm not really sure of their benefits right now. I just wanted to point out that I did find all of them in this level. I also saw glimpses of the lunar station outside of the shelter, hinting at a bigger area waiting to be explored. The stages aren't wide open, but there's enough branching paths that add curiosity when exploring the stages. Combat in Pragmata is where everything collides. Third-person shooting, puzzle-solving hacks, and tight dodging all happen at once. Unlike the previous time I played, the difficulty has been turned up to punish sloppy moves, so you need to stay mobile at all times. Taking a hit really sets back any strategy that you have and results in a scramble to try and recreate distance between you and the enemy. These moments of multitasking feel chaotic, but strangely satisfying. At any point, I'd be juggling Diana's hack puzzles, rolling through incoming attacks, and lining up quick shots in the span of seconds. It's an ADHD-friendly style of combat, and one that thrives on forcing you to switch gears constantly. The more I played, the more natural it felt, and I found myself wanting the chaos to ramp up even higher by the end of it. Outside of the action, the shelter gives you a space to breathe. Hugh and Diana interact here in quieter moments, often revealing hints about the larger state of the world. Bringing back hidden collectibles for Diana to interact with makes it feel like she's learning alongside you. It's a smart way to build character relationships without cutting into the pacing of the missions. That said, I'd like to see how far Capcom takes this. Right now, I'd say the shelter feels like an introduction to something bigger, and I'm curious to see if it evolves into a true narrative hub by the final release. This new build of Pragmata left me impressed. The shelter-based grounds, the semi-roguelite loop, the new hack nodes expand combat strategy, and the weapons feel tighter with its risk versus reward design. The balance between exploration, puzzle-driven hacking, and raw action is leaning into something unique, and it's getting harder for me to compare it to anything else other than Mega Man, and I'm on to you, Capcom, for that. And I know in the comments, you all will be saying it's not Mega Man, but can't change my mind. Anyway, we'll know more soon because Capcom is aiming for a 2026 release on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. If the game keeps building on what I played at TGS, Pragmata could be one of the most ambitious sci-fi action projects in years. Now, enjoy some gameplay.
Oh, where did that come from?
Look, I think it really did something!
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, baby, we did it! This is how we say, good job.
Noisy Pixel.